created a machine learning project on the topic detecting Parkinson's disease with the help of XGBoost classifier. So the goal of the project is to predict who is likely to have the Parkinson's disease based on the feature of a user. So let's first know what is the Parkinson's disease. It is a disorder of the central nervous system that affects the movement of a body. It is because of nerve cell damage in the brain causes dopamine levels to drop, leading to the symptoms of Parkinson. Now let's see what are the steps that has to be. So, so so in this we first will be getting to know about our data, then extract new features, then check the distribution of the target variables. After that we are going to understand the relationship between the variables, and then identifying the potential outliers in our data. After that we are going to see data cleaning, and after that we are going to see model building with the help of XGBoost classifier, and then the feature importance. So let's first import all the essential library inside our Jupyter notebook, like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn, sklearn, XGBoost. Yeah, so in the next step we are going to read our data, which is Parkinson.data, which is in the form of .csv. So we have used df.head to see the first 5 rows, so that we have a clear understanding and a picture of our data. In this we can see that we have various features and various independent features, and then we have the dependent features, or we can say that we have our target variable, which is status, in which we have the values in the form of 1 and 0, which says that 1 is for the person who have Parkinson disease and 0 for not having it. So in the next code we can see that df.loc188, which will give the 188th row, which will give the data of 188th row of our data frame. Like here you can see that we got all the data in of all the variables here. After that we are going to see the info which our data frame has to show, and that can be shown by df.info. Like here we can see that we get the good picture of our data, like in what data type our data is to be given. Like here we have object, floats, integers. Like in now we are going to see if there is any null values inside our data, which can be seen with the following code. df dot is any dot sum, we will give that will give the sum of the null values inside our data frame. Like here you can see that we have no data, we have no null values. So here now we have the function that displays the data types, levels of variable, and number of levels in each column of the trained data frame. So let's just run this code now. Like you can see that we have got the data types, we have got the number of levels, levels also. So it is just to get the better understanding of our data. Now we are going to see the statistical summary of our data, which can be seen by df.describe include all, which shows all the important characteristics of our data, like count, unique, top frequency, mean, standard deviation, mean, 25 percentile, 50 percentile, 70% max mean, etc. Now we are going to see if our data have any duplicate values or not. That can be seen by df.duplicated.sum. With this we can see that we have no duplicated value in like this way. Like here we have 0 value, and here also we got no row with any duplicate value, because we have none. So here also we are going to see if there are any null values or not. X is equal to 0 is given to check if there are any null values in our entire rows or not. So here we have it's a better way to better understand if we got the any null values or not, is just to visualize it. So here we have input sample 100, we have taken a sample of 100. So let's execute this. Now you can see that we have got a plot showing that all the variables, or we can say that column, have all have no null values, and we can see that they have the perfect plot. Here also you can see in the form of bar graph. The both can be used to know if we got any null values in any of the features. Now mm, we can now it's time to see the if estimated skewness and kurtosis. Df.skew is to check if a column got any skewness. Df.cut if a column got any got kurtosis in its. Now we are going to visualize our data. Let's say first we are going to use seaborn count plot on our status column, which shows that there are many peoples having Parkinson disease and there are less people who have Parkinson disease. So here we have to we have we are checking for our target variable, so we are just trying to visualize our data. So like here you can see that we have various plot describing our data better. And most important is our heat map, in order to see if there is any correlation between our data. As if there is any correlation between two variables, then we can drop one of them. We have got our heat map showing the correlation between variables. Now we are going to check the distribution of highly correlated features with label variable. So this code will use this seaborn dist plot on the data frame to check the highly correlated features. Like here you can see that we got a pretty beautiful uh, plots. Now most important step is to get the features and label from the data set. The feature are all the column except status, and the label are those in the status. So after executing this code, we can see, we will know that we got all the variables other than status in our as our features, and status column as our label. The status column has values of zeros and 1 as labels. So let's get the count of these labels for both zeros and 1. This code will show that how many zeros and ones we have in our status column: 147 ones and 48 zeros. Now we are going to initialize min max scaler and scale the features in between -1 to 1 to normalize them. The min max scaler transform feature by scaling them to given range. The fit dash transform method fits the data and then transfer it. It is very useful for our training purpose of our training of ML model. Now we are going to split our data set into training and testing, and we have used test side as 0.2 point 0.2, which is like 20% of our data will be used as our testing. So now we are going to use our XGBoost classifier to train the model. This classifier use the extreme gradient boosting, using gradient boosting algorithm for modern data science problem. It falls under the category of ensemble learning in ML, where we train and predict using many model to produce one superior output. So here we have into on to our X train and Y train data, and now we can execute this so that our model get easily fit on our data. So finally we have to generate ypred, which is equal to model.predict x test. This function basically do is to predict the values of x test data. Like here you can see that our model have have fitted easily fitted on our training data. Now it's time to predict our X test. So like here you can see that it easily predict with the accuracy of 94.87, which is pretty good. Now we have to export this tested model into we have to dump our this model into a pickle file with the name Parkinson model.pkl with the wk, so that it can be used in our Flask app. So it has been, as you now you can see that we have a Parkinson model.pkl file which we will be using in our Flask app. In the form, this will create a web page in which we have to provide our data, like we have here mdvp. These are all the feature column values in which in which we provide our data in order to get the result out of our model. In our app.py, here we have requested all the data from the HTML file, and after that it will convert this features into a np.array into the array form, so that our prediction takes place. Now here we will do model.predict all the values, and if we get the prediction which is equal to 1, we we see a message on our web page saying positive report, which means that the patient is is having Parkinson disease. If the prediction is came out to be 0, then there will be a message showing then the person is negative report, which means that the person have no Parkinson disease. So here also we have imported our first all the libraries. We have initialized Flask to app, which will later in which is used in our proc file. Like here you can see that we have a proc file wb unicorn app. First is for the Flask app that we have initialized in our here in our app, this one, and one is the and one app is the name of our Flask app, which is our app.py. So these three files we have to create for the deployment of. Now let's just create our requirement.txt file. First of all, you have to activate your environment in which you have created your ML project. In my case, I have created in Devinsep project. Now go to B directory, continue directly to file in which you have placed your ML model. And now you just have to paste this command here, that is freeze requirement.txt, and after pressing the enter key, you can see that you have your requirement.txt file in the folder pro. They here you can see that you have requirement.txt in which it is written all the libraries that you have used in making of your ML project. Now you have to create now you have to create your now you have to deploy your ML model. Now you have to deploy your ML model on your local computer. For this you have to use this code, python app.py. Now you can see that our Flask app, that is app.py, is deploying in our local computer. And now you can see here that we have a address which we have to copy from here, and you just have to paste it on the Google Chrome. Like you can see here, your project is correctly deployed on your local host. So now you can put your values here. Now you have to just click on the predict button here, and you can see the result in the below, which is saying positive report, which shows that our project is fine and ready to work and ready to deploy on Heroku. App on the Heroku platform. So first we have app.py that we have talked before. Here is then we have profile that also we have talked about. Then we most importantly we have the requirements.txt, in which we have initialized all the libraries that are used in our learning project. Later this file will be used to install all the these all libraries in our Heroku app. So this is very important. For the deployment purpose. Now the another important step is to put our all the files on our GitHub. Like you can see that we have imported our all the files on GitHub. In templates we have our index.html, which is our HTML web page. So now we are going to create our app on the Heroku platform. So just let's create new app. Let's give it a name, Parkinson 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 app. Parkinson. Now let's just create app. Now first and foremost thing that we have to do is we have to connect our GitHub account to the Heroku. Now you can see it automatically search for my GitHub account. Now you have to give your repository name, that is Parkinson. Now Heroku will automatically search for the repository with the name of Parkinson. Now you just have to connect with the repository. Now you can see that it is connected. The last step you have to do is just you have to deploy your branch. Now you can see here all the libraries. So now you can see that our ML model has been deployed on Heroku. The link is given here. Now you just have to copy it and make a new tab and just paste on it. Now you can see that our model has been deployed. Now you just have to check if our model is working correctly or not. So we are just providing it random values. Now just have to click on predict. Now you can see the result at the last saying positive report, which means the patient is diagnosed with Parkinson disease. Thank you.